Pretty fancy. And it looks like we still have some good color going back here. That's cool. I was afraid it might be gone this morning when we got back here. So imagine all the stuff that's surrounding you right now was cut down by the Ogle family because they farmed all that land right there over to the right-hand side. So imagine coming out here cutting all that stuff down by hand, by yourself. You had an axe and a mule, that was it. Now also consider the fact that you're looking at trees right here that are less than 100 years old. When the Ogles came out here and cleared this, they were clearing trees that were 200, 300, 400 years old. So take the diameter of the trees you're looking at right now, double it, now take it out by hand.
Is that why they're so thin?
The trees now?
Yeah, yes. the barks?
Because they're relatively young.
Yeah,
yes.
I see.
So also imagine the fact that you needed at least 30 acres of land to support your family. So imagine clearing 30 or 40 acres of that stuff out there. Thank you, I'll pass on that. We're going to see their cabin here in a little bit. And it took the average pioneer family a year to put that first cabin up because they were, again, cutting that stuff down by hand, usually by themselves, cutting it to length, splitting it, notching the corners, lifting it into place by yourself. That would really limit you on the size of a structure you're going to build. About 16 by 20 was average. No windows, because windows let in cold air. The people out here could not afford glass. Even if they could get it, they couldn't afford it. So they didn't put windows in except for one. There'd be one small window in that structure. And that window would look out at your corn crib. That's where your food was being stored to get you through the winter. Very important for you to keep an eye on that. Because if you didn't, something gets into that and you go hungry. Couldn't resupply too late in the season to start growing stuff. And are they looking at something? Or?
That's what I'm wondering.
Always do it. Okay.
Why don't they put on their flashers? I don't.
You got this idiot. Oh, sorry. That's my bubble again. I drove a truck for 15 years, and sometimes the truck driver will pop out of the bubble. Forgive me. But yeah, that would all limit you on how big your structure. Very low roof, low ceilings, for two reasons. One, you didn't want to have to lift logs up that high. And two, higher ceilings would be harder to heat. So you wanted to keep that heat in. Now that little, I'm sorry?
Are there any tribes left? Cherokee?
Yeah, there's a lot of Cherokee left. And there's a reservation on the North Carolina side of the park.
How many states does this run through?
Two. Tennessee, North Carolina. And the park is roughly half in each of those states. There's slightly more land on the North Carolina side, about 3% more land on the North Carolina side. Look at the great color we have back here today.
So they would last another week or two for the leaves?
Yeah, I would say a week, maybe two at the outside.
Okay.
And if you go higher up in elevation right now, you'll see them start to thin out and then disappear. If you go up to Newfound Gap at 5,000 feet, the leaves are gone.
Also up at Kingsman Cove, we were there yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of the leaves were like falling off.
Right, and then up there at the top, you're talking evergreen, so those don't lose their leaves. But the deciduous ones, yeah, are probably all gone at this point. Twin Creeks area back here is a research center. So there's always research going on out at the park because of all the diversity that we have. And when researchers and students are working in the park, they'll stay out there at Twin Creeks. Great questions, guys. I love them. Keep them coming.